Hey, what's going on, everyone? Daniel Betancourt here with Luis Mendez. Hope everyone's having an awesome day so far. Today we have an exciting topic to talk about, which is growing your database, something that all of us as real estate agents should be familiar with, and we should always be striving to become better at it. So welcome, Luis. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So is it important to grow your database? What do you say?
I'd say that is like the lifeline of any business, So for real estate, if you don't have a database, you don't have business. That's the way I see it.
For most agents out there, most of the closings that they have come from their database or their sphere of influence. So your sphere of influence are people that know, like, and trust you. And your database is basically everyone that you have the contact information for. So
Yeah.
there's two. Your sphere of influence is kind of a smaller segment of your database. These are people that know, like, and trust you, that you've met, that you have. It's your sphere of influence. You have a little bit of influence with them, and they have a little bit of influence with you. And then your database is just everyone. So we will always want to be growing that database, and that's contact information of people that have the potential of doing business with us. And we're going to be talking about ways to grow that database.
Yeah.
So Luis, what's been most successful for you?
Um, Two things, like you mentioned earlier, it's the database is pretty much the contact information that you have from everyone. One of them, I would say, is your sphere of influence, and your sphere of influence grows within time, from either your past job, from school, from different events you go to. Everyone, you're gonna know someone in the next, every year that's buying or selling real estate. So instead of them using, some Bob the realtor somewhere else, you want them to use you, especially since you know them. Hopefully you're going to give them even better service. So you would want to be, you would want to have them as in your database. And also, I would say the number one way of I've been getting building my databases from social media. I say social media has been my biggest tool. I've been able to grow from the Facebook group pages, from my Facebook page, and just posting things there, gathering, working with the system that Facebook allows us, and just meeting new people there. And then there's different things like I have there that I'm able to gather their names, their emails, their phone numbers, and these are people who are interested in real estate. May not be for today, but it's for it could be a few months from now, and it's actually been working. Like I've actually had a few listings and quite a few selling just through one Facebook group, so it's been pretty good.
You are really an expert at growing these Facebook groups. How large is your largest Facebook group?
So I have three that I use for that I have focused towards real estate. The Lake Wells one I have, it's 4,200 people, and so I'm trying to do, and that's been about maybe 2 years, maybe less, but I just started that one and it's grown so fast. We get about, I'd say per day we get about 20 to 50 people who are like trying to join the group. And I ask a question. Would you like me to stay? Would you like to stay in contact? I create a newsletter for them, and that's a good way for them. For me to capture the lead and build my database. And it's been a good way. And the other ones I have is everything Orlando, and then moving to Florida. And everything Orlando has about is almost right at the Lake Wells level. That one has 33,700 or 3,800 around there.
Yeah.
And then the moving to Florida has almost 1,000. So they're working pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome that you've got all together. You're approaching 10,000, and maybe if you get all your groups, you got 10,000 people that are following you. So that's fantastic. and you have systems in place where you're getting the contact information for these folks and you're bringing value to them, that's kind of what converts just a contact in your database to a sphere of influence person in your
Yes.
database. Just having their name, phone number, and email address, that's a contact. But once you're bringing value to them and they're interested in what you have to say, which I see all the engagement that you have in your Lake Wales group, that's fantastic. That's becomes your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And some people grow that into politics, right? There's some people they grow that, and once you become so popular, if that was your passion, you could become the mayor of the town, the governor, and grow it from there, or whatever it is that you're doing in business. In real estate, thankfully, everyone needs a home, right? So it's great because it's not like you're selling a certain thing that's only for a small percentage of your database. It's housing, and it's a home, and everybody needs a home. Something that I talk about with the team a lot is that if you are a renter, almost every renter eventually wants to be a homeowner. So every homeowner that eventually sells. So every homeowner that you have in your database is a potential future seller, and every renter that you have in your database is a potential future buyer. And so everyone that eventually will need a housing need. And if you can be the first person that they think of when that need comes up, that's what we want as real estate professionals. And that's our goal as real estate professionals. So,
oh yeah, it's a good way too, when you have it. I feel like if you have it on social media, people could see you, they see you're an actual human instead of, a robot, or, the salesy person. They start to learn who you are. They trust you. And, real estate it's you're not, like I always tell people, it's not like you're buying a computer or a car or something. You're purchasing something that's about $250,000 or more. It's just a big investment. So when they see you, they're involved, and, and if you're in control of these groups, they trust you. Mm-hmm. And I've been noticing a lot of that, people feel more comfortable, and it's been able to, build business with that.
And you have that in common with them, community with them, and you care about the community. Most of the things that you're posting are all about what's coming to the community, changes that are happening in the community, and it creates a lot of engagement. Some people are for the changes, some people are against the changes, and that conversation just helps you build more credibility and helps you build that influence. And so, it's great what you're doing there, and keep up the good work. So Facebook groups is a great way to grow your database. What about
you? What has been working successful for you? You've been in real estate for 16 years? So
yes.
You must have a very large database. So what has worked from you in the past, and how has each time, because you go from buyer seller market. So what has been super successful for you in each market?
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize, sometimes someone will get a license and they get into real estate and they say, I don't know anybody, I don't have any. But in reality, it's so different than, maybe generations of the past. We have our cell phones, and you could scroll through your contacts, and almost everybody has hundreds of contacts in their phone. I don't think I've ever met someone that's like, I don't have any contacts in my phone. So, all of those contacts, for the most part, you have some level of trust and familiarity with. So that's a great place to start. The biggest thing that I feel like I've been doing, and you can always, there's levels to it and you can always improve upon it, but it's just realizing all of the people that you already knew, so maybe when I got into real estate years ago, I had my phone that maybe had, 150 contacts or something like that. But I kept growing that. So when I got a new phone, back in the days where your phones just didn't sync, when you got a new phone, you had to go through all kinds of jump through hoops to transfer your contacts and all that stuff. But I would transfer those contacts and keep adding to them. And in your email, all the people that you've emailed over the years, thousands of people, no one really saves. A lot of people don't save those contacts, but you get a point to every little conversation that you have with someone, whether it's by email, whether it's a lead that comes in from some source. Every time I'm on the phone, I'm adding people to the CRM. It's just keeping it in mind that you want to store these people somewhere. So your phone is the easiest place. That's what everybody's familiar with. You know, you can be a great grandparent and you're familiar with saving people's contact information in your phone. That's almost like your first level A or level 1 CRM. But then, speaking of CRM, customer relationship manager, you want to have a CRM that you utilize. So if you're an agent that says, I've never used a CRM, I'm not into that, or I keep it all up here, or I have an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, that is great for 15 years ago or 10 years ago. You want to get with the times and utilize a CRM. Stellar MLS, if your MLS gives you a CRM that you can use that are paid for in your realtor dues if you're a realtor. If you're with eXp Realty, you have a great CRM called KV Core, and you can add all of your contacts to that CRM. And something I learned a long time ago, 2008, from Brian Buffini. You know, Brian Buffini he's a famous real estate coach, and he coaches a lot about growing your database and just you can get all the business that you want from your sphere of influence. He does a lot of coaching in that. So you want to add people to your database and then take the time periodically. It doesn't have to be all in one day. You want to categorize the contacts in your database. So are they, categorize them A, B, C, D. A people are ones that would send you business in a heartbeat. They would recommend you in a heartbeat. Maybe they've already done business with you multiple times. That's an A contact. A B contact is someone that would recommend you if prompted. Maybe you have to remind them, hey, if you know of anyone that works with you or friends and family, I would love to work with more people like you. You are so great to work with. I'd love to add more people like you to my database. So just keep me in mind. So that's a B level contact. They would recommend you, but they need some prompting. And then you have a C contact that's they may or may not. And then a D contact is probably someone that either maybe you had a transaction that didn't go well, or you're just, chemistry wise, there's something there that maybe you don't want to do business with them. But you always want to move the C's up to a B category, which takes nurturing and takes regular communication, which goes back to, making all those contacts throughout the year. And you want to move those B contacts to A's. So ideally, you want all of the contacts to be A's and B's. And there are studies that show for every 20 contacts in your database, you should be able to close one transaction per year. So that's something to keep in mind. And you have to have a system for staying in touch with those contacts. It can be, I'm not going to say one thing, it's all of the above. It can be social media, engaging with their posts. It can be emails, periodic emails, like an email newsletter that talks about something of value. Maybe talk about home values in the area where they're purchasing. So an e-newsletter is a great way to stay in touch with a large group of people. Phone calls, that's the one that everyone has been promoting for years. Have a system for periodically picking up the phone and just saying, hi, hey, I thought of you today. I drove by Bent Oak neighborhood and I remember our transaction 5 years ago. I can't believe how much time has passed since then. How's everything going? How's the house? How's the family? How are your neighbors? So just periodically touch base. Something that I do, sending magnets in the mail. It could be a calendar magnet for the refrigerator. It could be a to-do list magnet for the refrigerator. Just you want to send them periodic items of value or conversations, engagements that just keep you top of mind in that event that they have someone that they might be able to recommend to you. So that's and it's hard to keep track of that without a CRM, so the CRM is the tool that makes all of this much easier.
Yeah, I could definitely say for sure, when I first started doing real estate, we had a CRM, and I don't really think of we had a class on how to use it, how important it is, all the things it could do. It was very vague, and so I didn't think about it. And I try to keep a hold of everyone, and just in my mind, and my business reflected off of that. And then when I tried to actually work for it, it definitely got better. And then now I would say, because I'm almost coming up to 1 full year with EXP, and I would say actually utilizing the CRM and having a place, putting everyone into that database, and utilizing it for what it is, I literally doubled my business from last year, and in the year's not even over. And hopefully, I'm rooting to triple, which would be really awesome. But
Yeah.
it's just that I mean, because you gather everyone's information. What was that you said? It was like per 100 is like
20.
one for 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So I mean,
that's if you're staying in touch with them. You have to,
yeah,
it's so you're gonna get, you're gonna get some business from people that you lose touch with just because you form such a bond that they will remember you for years. But a lot of times we think someone will remember you more than they actually will. I mean,
yeah,
I talk to customers all the time that say, "Oh, I sold my house in Pennsylvania years ago, and man, our realtor was awesome. I'm trying to remember his name. What was it, honey? What was our realtor like?" They don't remember, and
yeah,
they'll remember all the great things about the person, but if they can't remember the name,
yeah.
then so that's a sad thing. When I see that, I'm like, that's kind of a wake-up call to me, that you could leave a great memory with somebody, a great impression with somebody, and they'll just say, man, I met the nicest person who was so great. What? I can't remember that person's name, or
Yeah.
I dropped my phone and lost their number. So you have to just constantly be in touch with them, because they may
And
have lost their phone number.
and here's the thing also, like, even if they never purchase from you, and they never purchase or sell from you, there a lot of them are your biggest advocates. Because I have a lady who I've she bought her house a long time ago. That's her forever home. But she calls me, she's like, oh hey, my neighbor or someone from church is looking to buy. I gave him your phone number. And I kind of feel like she's like my aunt or something like that, because she's like, she's always thinking of me. And it's pretty cool. So like, you have those people in your database. Stay in touch. I would, from time to time, I send her some gifts. Christmas letter, give her some chocolate and stuff like that. And
Yep.
as a thank you. And it's but I've created another friend, but also that friend is also working for me. And the way I see it is, they're helping me provide, they're helping provide for my family. They're taking care
Yeah.
of my family, and that's how I see it. I take care of them, they take care of me, and it's all together. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and if they're business owners, you can support their business
Yeah,
also. So you email, text, phone call, e-newsletters, events, customer events, where you're inviting them to an event that you come up. These are all ways that you can stay in touch with your sphere of influence. Another thing that can grow your database is by attracting people to you, through different methods. We're
yeah,
doing a Facebook Live right now, or we're doing the StreamYard that's actually being streamed across several venues. This people are seeing this, and they're getting an idea of what it's like to communicate with us, and they may or may not reach out to us in the future. So that's something. Be out there, create a YouTube channel it could be about your special interests. It can be about your community. All of those things make a difference. The other thing is getting involved in networks. It could be volunteering. It could be your church. It could be a special interest, martial arts, boating, Cub Scouts, PTO, fitness groups, whatever special interest groups. Those people who have similar interests as you, they make great customers, because you guys see eye to eye, and you all have similar interests. So that, once they find out that you're a real estate agent, which, it doesn't take long for most people to find out you sell real estate when you're a realtor, you want to be the first person that they think of. So
yeah.
that's, those are all ways that you can continue to grow your database. One thing I wanted to mention was, like, if for people who, let's say they moved into a new town, what would you do if you had to pick up today and move to another state where you didn't know anybody? How would you try to stay in the real estate business?
So, well, I actually moved from Orlando to Lake Wells, which is, it's funny, if when you're in Orlando, when I was in Orlando and I had buyers, I'm like, you got, like, look, Claremont, like, move to Claremont. They have new homes. It's 150,000. And people are like, Claremont, man, that's super far. Now everyone's wanting to move to Claremont, but the cheapest house is like 350,000. Well, when I came to Lake Wells, like I love that it's the country. It's there's no traffic, at least compared to Orlando, driving an hour for which is like a 2 mile drive. When I came to Lake Wells, it was a whole new world. Literally, it is night and day with Orlando, and it's only an hour away. So I didn't really have a big connection. So what I did is I started a Facebook group, and I went to a few events, met some friends. So hey, I have a Facebook group. Came here, and then I did that, and then I did a $50 giveaway. I was like, hey, whoever invites the most people in this group, I'm gonna add you to this like it was a world spinner, and if you whoever well, I'll put the spinner thing on a certain date. So I had 2 weeks for everyone to invite, and it went from 20 people to 300 people within a week. And I was like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. And I got a local restaurant. I bought a gift card from a local restaurant. So that way it kind of helped the local community. And I had a winner. And so, and that winner eventually, became good friends, and then we kind of connected because they have ducks, and then we ended up getting ducks. And then eventually we ended up closing a house on them.
Yeah.
They just sold their property. So that's, it was a cool way. I came into the community, didn't know anyone. And then within a year or two, ended up, building lots of friends. I know one of the guy, Curtis Gibson, he's, been running for mayor and commissioner, and developed a good friendship with him. And you kind of get to know different business people. And now I call Lake Wells, this is I feel like I live in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
It's way better. But I feel like that's a great way. If you move into a completely new place, start that. Go to different events, meet people, start a group. And if you're in an area already, I have an Orlando group. You know how many Orlando groups there are? But still, everyone, people just go in there and want to find be on 50 different Orlando groups. And so you just start a group wherever you are. Just start a group.
Yeah.
And be community. I would say focus on the community. What was that? Zig Ziglar had a thing. He's like, if you help enough people,
get what they
if you eventually help enough people, you're going to end up getting what you need. And, I feel like if I could support a business and they see me supporting and helping out other people, people start to like that. And it's like, oh, well, this guy's not a salesy. And people can tell if you're a salesy type of person.
Yeah. Yeah. If you help enough people get what they want, they will help you get what you want. That's
exactly what it is.
We love Zig Ziglar. Yeah. Another thing is, everyone always talks about in real estate prospecting. So if you're prospecting and circle prospecting, calling FSBOs, you're going to meet people. Someone else at our company, Ricky Caruth, he prospects all of these beachfront condo buildings. And so if you've ever watched his videos, he talks to people he's just cold calling random people who live in these beachfront condominium buildings. And he talks to them and just has conversations with them, just says, hey, if you don't already have a realtor down the road, whenever you need one, I'd love to be that realtor for you. Would it be okay if I stay in touch with you? And some of them would say yes. If there's no pressure, if you're not causing someone to feel like you're pressuring them to do business with you, and it's a very low pressure communication, there's no reason why they would say, hey, yeah, no problem. Stay. I'm happy to stay in touch with you. And then he adds them to a newsletter, and then he sends that newsletter out week after week after week, talking about the area. He's focused in on this beachfront area with the condos, and everyone's interested in that. And a lot of the homeowners there, they live out of state and they come and go, throughout the year. So they're interested in it. And that's how he built his big sphere of influence. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. He would probably say so, but that's kind of what I extract from what he's sharing. Instagram, when you hashtag the popular hashtags from your town, that also gains you followers. Other people who are using similar hashtags and also following those hashtags that are local to their community, they start following you. And now all of a sudden, video, we could keep talking about video. The more videos you put out there, people get to know you, even though it's one way recognition. They're recognizing and getting to know you, and you're not really doing the same with them unless they engage with you. It still helps, because if they're familiar with you and imagine that it would be pleasant working with you, they will reach out to you, and that's going to help you also build your database. So this was, super helpful. Being involved in the community. I've been Cub Scout for my son, then leader, and all that stuff. Like all of these little things, jiu-jitsu, martial arts, volunteering in church, all of these things help grow your sphere of influence and help grow your database. And you've done a great job over the last couple of years, so I appreciate that. You wanted to talk about, before we end, we're about to end, anyone who's interested in getting into real estate.
Yes. So I was bringing up a good thing. First of all, if you're wanting to get into real estate, that's your main goal. I think it's also good to start a Facebook page, and or start building your database. Just tell everyone, hey, I'm going to school. I'm going to become a realtor. Start collecting data now, so that way you don't have to wait till day one to start. You can just start now as you're going to school, as you're saving up money to get into the business. But if you don't have a school yet, you want to become a realtor, the school is, we partner with the CE Shop, and it's, go to www.hgmres.com, and we actually have a 40% off up until next Wednesday. And the code word for that is course. So, and if you have anything, you can go to my Facebook page, it's Luis Mendez Realtor, and you can also see the ad there, and I'll repost it again. But it's hgmres.com, and you could sign up for the real estate class.
How do they connect with you? What's your phone number?
It's 407-790-6232. Oh, also one thing. If you could also sign up. There's a 5-day free membership, so you could just sign up for free, like no credit card. You don't have to put in any information. Just sign up and take the course, and see if it's for you. I find it to be very easy. It's very, very helpful the way they have everything. So I really believe it'll be beneficial to you.
Yep, that's awesome for anyone that's interested in getting into real estate, and that's a great resource that you have for people to get their real estate licenses. And we're also doing an event, virtual event on October 6th, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be all about time blocking. So I've invited a coach that's doing over $80 million a year in real estate business, and he's going to be teaching us how to time block like a rock star, essentially. Like if you want to know how very high level real estate team leaders operate, he's going to be sharing with us how to time block your schedule, so that way you can be the most productive and efficient, because we all have the same amount of hours in a day. So it's all about getting as much business done within those working hours as you can. So he's going to be sharing that with us, and it's going to be great. I know he's very involved in his children's lives and extracurricular activities as well. So to sell a lot of real estate doesn't mean you have to abandon every other interest and loved one in your life. You can do both if you prioritize them and time block properly. So if you're interested in getting an invitation to that, that's going to be a private Zoom. If you're interested in getting an invitation to that, let us know. It's going to be on October 6th at 10:30 a.m. You can reach out to me at 407-375-9142, or down there scrolling on the screen is teambetancourt.com. You can reach out that way as well. And that's it for today. Thank you, Luis. And
thank you.
We'll see you all next time.